Okay everyone, welcome back to the second sessions of your video lesson. So in this first sessions, you already learned the grammar point, which is the comparative and superlative form of the adjective. So in this sessions, you are going to study the writing tutor books. And in the lesson, you are studying the unit 3, which is about the extraordinary phenomena. In this book, you are learn to write a paragraph, and the writing form that you learn so far, which is the narrative paragraph. The narrative paragraph, we will cover what is narrative paragraph at the end of this slide. So in this video, we are going to look at the part 4 of our lesson, which is the revising and proofreading. And the lesson you can find is on page 62 and 64. So without any further ado, let's get started. So before we start the main part of our lesson, which is revising and proofreading, I would like to give you a quick review of what you need to do when you are writing a paragraph. So do you remember the 3 steps of writing a paragraph? So the first one is to make an outline. So what is outline? Outline is the way you can use to organize your idea, your informations, or your example in a very organized way. So your outline should be short and simple. Mostly it's just a bullet point, which one words or a short sentence. When you get your outline, you start to develop your draft. So draft, we transform the words into sentences, and in the draft you just start writing your paragraph, but it is not the final product of your writing because there is no limited. You can add more information, you can take out the information, you can change the order of your writing. So remember, draft is not supposed to be perfect because you can change along the way. Moreover, don't expect to write only one draft, because if you want your writing to be good, there's supposed to be more than one draft. You need to write more in order to improve your writing. And finally, when you have the draft and you finish the draft, you have the final draft. And when you get the final draft, what should you do? You need to revise it. You need to check it again, which is the last stage. We call it revising and proofreading. So what you need to do in this stage, you need to look at the grammar structure, whether you write the grammar structure correctly or not. Look at the subject and verb agreements. Did you use the right subject or the right word? Pay attention to the punctuations of your writing. Last but not least, check the spelling of your paragraph, because you might misspell some of the words, so please check it. So what should you do in the revising and proofreading stage? As I said, the grammar structure. So you look at the tenses. Is it in the correct tense? For example, when you are writing a narrative paragraph, mostly you talk about the event or the situation in the past. So is it the past tense that you are using? Is it the correct verb of the past tense that you use? Okay. Look at the subject verb agreement. Is the subject is singular? Is the subject is plural? Look at the verb and the subject properly. So this is a part of a grammar structures. For the punctuations, different sentences end with a different punctuations. For example, a question form should end with a question mark. A statement or negative sentence should end with a full stop or period. Some sentence, for example, like close, you need to make sure we have a proper commas or not. So be careful with punctuation, because you can lose your score along the way with just those minor mistakes. Last but not least, it is very important, which is the spelling. So as you notice here, the word spelling on the so the word spelling on the screen here is wrong spell, right? So don't expect to be perfect. because mistake can occur every time. Even I am a teacher, I always proof and check it again and again. So as you can see, the word spelling is mistyped, so this is not the right way. Without revising and proofreading again, there will be no way to see this mistake. So after you finish your writing, make sure you read it again carefully. Look at the grammar structure, for example, tenses. Look at the punctuations and look at the spelling. Okay, so now everyone, I hope you have the book with you. So we start our lesson here, which is the review practice. So as you know, the writing structure that you are learning here is about the narrative form. And here is a sample reading passage. So what you need to do is to read the paragraph, cross out 3 sentences that do not belong here. So the first sentences have been done for you, so let's find the other. So let's read this together. People say that crop circles are man-made, but I know that's not true. One night I couldn't sleep, so I went for a walk. I came to wheat fields, and suddenly a strong wind began to blow. Then I saw a UFO rise into the air and shoot out a wide beam at the field. I like a toy beam gun, so this one is, what do you think? It's a little bit out of the context, so we need to cross it out. I was afraid, so I hid in the wheat. After the UFO was gone, I saw huge circles in the wheat that could not be made by human. The UFO was very big and shiny, so this one, is it relevant to be here? No, because it is not the time to describe the appearance of the unidentified flying object here. So this should be left out. So here are the information which is appropriate information about the reading passage here. Now everyone, let's move on to the next activity. So the next activity is the grammar practice. So do you remember the quantifier? So quantifier are the word that used to talk about number, right? So we have most of here, none of, all of, and some of. So what you need to do is to circle the correct expression. So number 1 has done for you, most of. So most of my 6-day trip to the Himalayas was not very exciting, except for one night. So not all day was not exciting, but there's one night that it was exciting. So none of my friend and I had heard about the Yeti, or all of. Okay, so the correct answer is all of my friend and I had heard about the Yeti, the giant ape man that people say live in the Himalayas. Only mean only a few or only all. Okay, so only some of us believed he was real. Which one? None of us ever thought we could see him, or all of us? Okay, so the correct answer is none of us thought we would see him. One night we were in bed and none of us were sleeping when it happened, or most of us. Okay, so most of us were sleeping when it happens. At 3 o'clock in the morning, the giant ape man walked right in front of our tents. His heavy footsteps woke us, and all of us screamed. Okay, so these are the word which is, we call it determiner or quantifier, we use to describe the quantity or the number. All right, so here are the grammar practice. So let's move on to the real practice of the proofreading activities. So as you can see here, there are 5 pictures, and below the picture is a sample writing. So what you need to do is to fill in the blanks with the sentences and the linking words. So the linking word here are the the adverb, immediately, and then. So let's read this all together. Look at the picture and read along the way. So John Doe was like most of us. He did not believe in UFOs. But he became a believer in UFO one summer night when he saw one. On his way home from work, John saw something shiny in a field, and at first he thought an airplane had crashed. So which one? Okay, there was no movement, so he thought all of the people on it were dead. So on it here, it referred to the airplanes. Okay, he got out of his car and walked most of the way to the object. So which linking word should be used? Then, right? Then all the hair on John's body stood on ends. What's next? He was scared. He was looking at a UFO. Immediately, he ran back to his car and hurried home. After that night, John Doe never again said people were mistaken about seeing UFOs. So one here is the final piece of writing, which is the completed ones. So everyone, after you read this, and I hope you already learned some of the important concept of the lesson. So after you practice some of the grammar point, practice some of the reading passage, I would like you to complete your final draft, which is on page 64. So the lesson there is just about the narrative paragraph. You can write down your extraordinary phenomena, what you experience, or you can write something simple. For example, let's say your first day at school, which is the narrative paragraph as well, which means we talk about the events. Okay. So everyone, that's it for the video lesson on today class. And if you have any questions, you can ask your teacher in your online study group, because we are always here to help you. So now everyone, it come to the end of the class, and enjoy your holidays. Goodbye.